Are you tired of playing by the rules? Tired of doing what you're supposed to when all you really want to do is burn the damn rule book and start fresh? I get it. I've done it more than once. And let me tell you, freedom tastes better than approval ever could. Welcome to Her Gypsy Rebel, the podcast for those who crave more creativity, more space, more of your own damn life on your own terms. I am Jacqueline Van Bierk, aka Pink Star, a musician, artist, traveler, and professional rule breaker, bringing you real, unfiltered conversations about reinvention, confidence, and making space for what actually matters. So grab a coffee, a tea, something a little stronger, because this is where the rebellion begins. Hello and welcome to today's episode with a very special guest, Dawn Christiansen. This woman is a superhero. She has gone through so many obstacles in her life, lost her breath 3 times. Her near-death experiences have really taught her to come fully back into this place, into her body, and appreciate this gift we've been given, the gift of life. You will love this episode so much, so get comfortable, lean back, and enjoy this conversation. Hello, Dawn. How are you today?
Hello. I am honored and so excited to be here. I just feel so blessed. I really do. I'm so excited.
I feel super blessed to have you because I love your story. You are such a brave woman who's gone through a lot of stuff, and your background is just so majestic. I love it. It so matches you. All you need is the crown, but you don't need a crown because you're the queen.
I received that. I received
You know,
it.
share with our listeners. You have such a crazy story. And I know that a lot of people will be so touched by it, but also will realize how beautiful this life is that we have been given. And just share of yourself how you came to where you are right now and your pivoting points and the realization that you were meant to be here, right now, you know?
Ah, yes. And thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share it. And it is truly a beautiful life, a beautiful breath, a beautiful moment. Like there's so much grace just in that and dropping into the realization of this life, this moment between you and I, this sacred moment. It's all sacred. It's all sacred.
It really is.
It's all sacred. Yeah. So my journey from my earliest memory, I've always been, well, coming into this world, I was not breathing. I was a blue baby. I put in an incubator. And I don't know if that set the tone for me,
Wow.
but and my parents were very afraid how this was impacting me. I didn't have any oxygen. I wasn't touched, all the things. And I definitely was different than my family and came in very emotional, very sensitive, um, and also curious. Like, what is this life about? And I've always just been so attracted, so thirsty for the arts because this life, as I watched it, even young, I'm like, but I am this. I need to express all of this, and I'm not getting the opportunity to. And that's where I found books. Books actually were my first place where I was like, oh, you get me. You see me. You understand. I remember I read Herman Hesse's Sid Arthur. I was like 12 years old and I read it in like child's pose from cover to cover. I don't even know. I don't even think I ate or drank anything. I just was like, this, what is this world? This is what I've been seeking. And so, that being said, I found dance. And when I found dance, my whole world made sense. Like, this is what I've been aching for. This is how I get to give, offer, reach into all that I am and say, this is me, this is you, this is life, these are these questions, and give it beauty and art and music and expression and movement. Like, movement can express everything beyond the word. And so I immerse myself in that world. And I shared with you. So I was blessed for a scholarship to American Dance Festival. And that probably, when I think of my life, was one of the most euphoric times in my life. And this opening of every chakra in my being. I don't even know if I was aware of chakras at that time, but I was so in alignment. I
Right.
was so in my heart. I was getting to dance all day with the most amazing teachers from around the world, the most amazing dancers, and going every night to see performances with like Paul Taylor, Laura Lubavitch. I mean, it was just like my whole heart was, you know how they say children are, is your heart living outside yourself? It was just everything I ever wanted to experience all wrapped up there before me. And it was at Duke. And I've never been there. I had traveled by myself. I was 19, traveled by myself. And at that time, I was a student at Holy Cross studying psych pre-med. Okay. What I was doing. I was psych pre-med. I don't know. I definitely was on the path. Like, I think this is what my father wants, and this is what is should I be doing. And so I'm at American Dance Festival. I'm having these openings. Like, I remember just this one time we had seen this beautiful performance, and Durham, North Carolina, it's Raleigh Durham Duke campus, and there's these woods and these trees. I've always been so
Mm.
connected to trees my whole life. And I was in this with these trees and in this gorgeous setting, and my whole being just was like one with everything. And the other dancers just were like, going about, and I'm like, third chakra, everything was wide open, wide open. And so again at ADF, and we had been dancing all day long, which was my heart and soul. And I was at this lagoon in this quarry. And I remember I was just laying in this body of water, and my whole, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, everything was weightless and
Hmm.
fully supported. I was just in this cocoon of support. And I remember it's so, like it's happening now. Like, I can remember it just like that. And I was just looking at the sky and feeling myself just completely supported in these waters. And as I mentioned, there was all these other dancers, and they were off doing their thing, and I was just in this blissed out state. And again, this is actually the time I spoke about the woods was another time, again in the woods, walking through the woods to get to the cars, and it literally was lit up. Like, I could I could like feel the trees, hear the trees. Everything was just lit up. I could see, like everything was open. And so we were getting in the cars. I had actually been in another car getting there, and I took a different car of a dancer who was driving that I didn't know very well, but my other friend had wanted to go back earlier to campus. So I said, okay. So I got in this car, and I was in She ran through a red light at an intersection, going quite fast, and there was obstructed view, and I got hit right where I was sitting by a truck, and I got thrown out
Oh my
of the
God.
car. And this woman came over and she prayed over me. And it was, I don't remember anything other than walking through these beautiful woods. So I think I was just in this protected state. And so I don't remember. I kind of have visceral memories like of reactions of this side of my body, if I'm driving and I go, I definitely have still some of that remnants, but I do not remember.
Hmm.
So much of myself was in an altered state. So I had, by God's grace, I was at Duke Medical Center, which is this amazing, amazing medical center. And I had a near-death experience. And I remember being, and when I say peace, peace doesn't come close to it. I was in this place with my grandma. And my grandma is just from my whole life. And she had just passed a month before, month and a half before this
Wow.
happened to me. And she was there, and what I call Christ consciousness or the energy of the Christ, whatever you want to say, I just knew it was Christ. There wasn't like a being in front of me. It was just the energy of Christ.
Wow.
And I was in this place of the most perfect peace, the most perfect love, the most perfect belonging, knowing. And I remember looking at my body, and I will share, I had reluctance to go back in it. I did, because I was in this place. It's so hard to describe because we get glimpses on this in this earthly form. We certainly do. Um, but it's that and only that. It's all that. And I was looking and I knew my assignment, my work, whatever word you want to say, was not done. And I knew I needed to go back. And I still carry that place inside me. I can, even it's so funny because the feeling of being in that lagoon, I remember on every level. And the feeling of being just with the energy of grace. And so I did go back into the body. I was in a coma. My face was ripped apart. My finger had been ripped off and they put it back.
Oh my God.
My shoulder looked like a shark attacked it.
Oh my
My
goodness.
my ribs were all fractured and they punctured my lung.
Oh my goodness.
And so my parents were called in the middle of the night. Now I'm 19 years old. And they were called. And this is what always chokes me up. The other things don't choke me up at all. But my parents got a call, my being a mom, that they said, "We do not think your daughter is going to make it through the night.
That's
She's
just
been
the
in a car
worst.
accident."
Oh my God.
And they had to drive from, I'm in New York, to Durham, North Carolina, to Duke Medical Center through the night, not knowing if I was going to be alive. When my father walked in and saw me, my face blown up, my hair, all tubes everywhere. My pelvis was shattered.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
it
Jesus.
just was, again, miracle. I
You
mean,
are a miracle.
a miracle.
Yeah,
and he collapsed.
I bet. Yeah.
He collapsed, and my poor mom, this child that's hanging on by a thread, and her husband collapses. They think they have a heart attack. She just was like, she
Oh
just
my
recently
goodness.
shared, she just disassociated. She just disassociated from the whole thing. She just kind of went into that state of, I'm not going to feel anything. This is
Right.
too much.
Wow.
So the thing was, I have all these tubes hooked up to me. And then I'm brought home. And this is 1988, right? I'm 56 years old. This is 1988. And I'm brought home. My sister, my middle sister, well, the middle, I'm the youngest of the girls. She came home. She's 3 years older, and she became my nurse. And I was immobilized because I couldn't walk. I had my shattered pelvis. My jaw was wired shut.
Oh my God.
So I couldn't hurt or couldn't hurt. My, I mean, my head, I had this huge laceration. I had my face was all ripped apart, my hands, my shoulder. I mean, it just was for a 19-year-old to, and I'm even going to say a girl at the time, like everything changed here. Everything did. However, if I had not had that experience where we are not this body, I am not this face, I am not, even though I love dance and my dance career was over, that is not all I am. I am a soul. I am love. I am the highest form. That's what we are. We are the highest form. We are one with the highest form of love, which is so small. That word cannot capture what we are.
Yeah.
And I knew it. So I, like, people would say I was like glowing. And I'm laying here in the middle of the living room. I can't talk. I can't walk. My sister has to do these. I mean, God bless my sister. She had to, because my finger, it was just, these were all scarred, and this was like just my, this whole area just ripped apart everywhere, and she had to like massage, she had to do all these things, the bedpan, and I just knew it's okay, it's okay, it doesn't matter. And I had so many operations. I mean, in total, between operations, procedures, like 35 operations and procedures to put me back together again. And I, through it all, just was carried. And this was like a very long period of time to heal from it. And I mentioned I was at Holy Cross. Oh, a little part that I did forget though, and I think it is an important part. And it's a part and part for me. Um, it was either two, I forget the amount of time. It was like 2 days before my car accident. I had called my parents and I told them, nope, not going back to school. I am a dancer, I'm a choreographer, I'm an artist. I had companies interested in me. And I was like, this is my calling, this is my heart, and I'm following it. And so I'm so glad that I knew, had this not happened, I don't know what it would have been, but I do know that I stuck my whatever stake in the sand, that I'm going to be me. I'm going to listen to my heart, and I'm following my own path. So that gives me so much pride in that 19-year-old to say, I'm following my heart. And so that experience changed everything. You can't
Wow.
go through something like that. It becomes before and after, because I don't, and I never will again see the world like I did. I see the world from knowing, number one, this is not all there is. This body, though beautiful, is not all we are.
Yeah.
And we are so much more beautiful, more expansive, more powerful than we can ever even imagine. And where we come from, those places where we have that glimpse of peace, you know, when everything drops and surrenders and you're in that knowing, it's that in every part of you. It's just everywhere. It's just amplified. And there's words just can't ever even come close to that knowing. And that's what I always say. I know. I know there is no death. I know that we're so much more than these bodies. I know that we're these hearts and this connection. And we're meant to sit with each other at that level. Like that, what I experienced there with my grandma and with Christ and in this place that I was is in us. And that's where we're meant to meet and see each other. Like having that experience changed everything. But I will say, it also made it a little difficult in a way to be here because I was having this expansive spiritual, like we are so much more than these bodies. We are souls. We are meant to, and then there's the everyday, right? And it's the dance of bringing that knowing. Like you started this time together, like about the beauty of being here. And that's, I had trouble really landing back in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. And after my car accident, oh my God, it took so long to heal and so many operations. And in the midst of it, I was like, I had such a lease on life. Like, I don't care. None of this is really very important other than love. Really, none of it matters. This things that we get tripped up by, who cares? It's not important. And therefore, I was like, what do I want to do? So I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to be an actress and I'm going to share my soul because I felt like at that time, I was like, acting, how can I share who I am?
Yeah.
How can I share who we are? How can I reach across and put a mirror to say, you are so beautiful. We are in this together, and be able to take this soul that was so big and share it. So I auditioned for NYU, and looking back, I know like that's a little bit crazy thing you did.
How long was the time span from, so what,
Uh,
19 was
it
the
was
accident?
I was 19. Now I was in my 20s.
Okay.
I was like 22, and I just auditioned. I literally opened up a book of monologues. Like, I'm going to audition. I did Agnes of God. And I literally scared the casting or whatever, the board there for NYU, because my imagination was so expansive. I could see the blood coming out. I was like, on the stigmata, I could see it. And they were like, okay, we're gonna have to rein this one back. But so then I got to go to NYU, and I think that was a really, again, I was having physical therapy, I was having operations. It was not your normal experience.
Yeah.
However, I was immersed in this creative community. And that is my happy place. That's the place where, again, that I want to feel alive. I want to feel connected. I want to know who you are. I want to meet you there. And that's what that gave me. It got past all the fluff or the other things that I really don't care about. And it's like, here we are. Let's meet here. What is this about? Let's be here for it. So that gave me that, and I loved that experience. But I definitely, because you have a car accident like that, it definitely leaves physical struggles. I don't even want to say struggles, but physical realities that I definitely still carry with me. However, I definitely am in the knowing that I have a resource no matter what happens in my life to tune into that will always carry me through. And that is unbreakable. That's unbreakable. So I, at the being in the city, and I was acting, I was able to teach something called Lottie Burke, which was divine intervention, because Lottie Burke was this fusion of Pilates, yoga, dance, physical therapy, meditation, and Alexander work, right? And I got to study with the woman who brought it here. And I was able to move my body in a safe way. Like I couldn't dance, but I could do this. And that was such a blessing to be doing something that, again, I mean, that's always in me. That's always going to be in me. That is such a home for me to express myself that way. So it was doing that and I loved it, but my body definitely started to break down. And I ended up having to go home again for 7 years, and have more operations, because my body just wouldn't stay together. It started to dislocate, especially my shoulders. And I had 10 shoulder surgeries, collectively from the car accident and after on the shoulders because they just wouldn't stay in the joint. And then I learned that I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, which is a connective tissue rare genetic connective tissue disorder. So I came home. I did physical therapy and operations. And then another miracle happened in that there was this place called VESID, Vocational Educational Service for Individuals with Disabilities, right? And I met this woman, she was my angel. And I came in because I couldn't do what I was doing. And I needed to figure out how I was going to live in the world and not be dependent on my parents. And she sent me to expressive arts therapy 3-year program with Marcus Scott Alexander. It was a weekends, every other weekend kind of format, which I was able to do my physical therapy and study of expressive arts therapy with a concentration in spirituality. I did that for 3 years. Like, what that was so mind boggling. Like, this is a government program, and they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I would like to do this. And she's like, yes, we will pay for you to do that. So that's a miracle, synchronicity, a gift from the universe. And that really held me through that time. And when they discovered that I had EDS, because they were doing the operations before I went to the expressive arts therapy, they were doing operation after operation. And as soon as they did it, my shoulder would dislocate. And I could not lift my arm. I mean, I could not lift it. My mother had to like brush my hair, I didn't have use of my arms for a very long time.
Damn.
And by God's grace again, my wonderful, divinely sent orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Cardasco, he is so amazing, special surgeons. And he's like, I wish I had a magic wand to make you better. but I can't. You don't deserve this. It's like, and this is beyond me. So he sent me a geneticist. They told me I have EDS. And my mom and I found this symposium in Wisconsin for Ehlers-Danlos. Now, this is in the, let's see, late 90s, early 2000s. And nobody really knew about EDS. So this geneticist diagnosing me was so huge. We went to this conference. I found out about this thing called prolotherapy. I met this doctor back in New York City, Dr. Richard Bacharach, who all his clients were the Joffrey Ballet and ABT and SAB, all dancers, treating hypermobility, treating this kind of joints like me. He shot injections into most of my joints. And what it did was it cauterized them that the operations couldn't do. And through it, I began to be functional.
Oh my God.
Because before that, I can't walk because my knees were dislocating, my hips everything was dislocating. So that was the miracle. That was here you go. Let's line you up with these people because you have something more. So he did these, and it was horrible, so painful. The first time he did it, I passed out, and I have a huge pain tolerance, but it was really bad. But ouch. He did it in my joints, and he put them back together. And that's when I went to expressive arts therapy, and then I was able to go back into the city, and I created a program in the city called Grace. And it's called Gaining Resources Through Art, Creativity, and Expression. And it was based on my healing journey. And I was able to bring that into the Beth Israel and St. Luke's Roosevelt for people in the cancer suites. So it was like the universe kept giving me opportunities that were I didn't even know were available. Like, here, do you want to do this? They just kept giving it to me. And it was just because I was in alignment, I think. And I definitely, even though all this had happened, I was still in this really open and expansive, trusting state of knowing we are not just these bodies, connecting with the soul, knowing why we're here. And knowing that for a lot of the operations, I was immobilized again. And when I was immobilized first from my accident and not being able to speak, when that happens to you, you have to go within. You have nowhere else to go.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I feel that my boyfriend just came home. My dog wants to come and say hi.
Come.
They like to talk. You know what I found so fascinating and crazy is, first of all, your attitude. Not once did I hear you say poor me or whatever, because you would think that, when I think about, we as humans feel like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why, I know when when my dad passed away, and then my mom had a partner and he passed away way later, but she would constantly ask, why, right? And I said, Mom, I don't know. There's just nothing you can say, right? But I feel that we often do that. We're like, why is this happening to me? Why did I break my leg? Or why do I even have a headache, right? Like simple things. Yet here you are. You were like, your house was like pretty much destroyed, and it was rebuilt. You rebuilt your home. You were not meant to leave. And obviously, because, wow, your chance to still be here was pretty slim. Like, it's, from what it sounds like, your body was just destroyed. And for you to have gone through all that and have this attitude, to have this mindset, you're blowing my mind. It's like funny. You're telling me the story, and I'm feeling my body getting really uncomfortable, a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, and I want to cry. And at the same time, I feel like, wow, she's so powerful. She's so strong. You have this positivity that I'm just like blown away by it. your attitude to say, well, this is what it was, and here I was, my sister was taking care of me, and I just trusted. I didn't sit here thinking, oh my God, my dance career is over. My big dream in my life was over. You just, it feels almost like wherever the universe is taking you, you're just going with it. You're like, okay, this is where you want me to go. Here we go. And
Mm.
what a lesson, what a beautiful example to set that we as humans are so capable of so many things. And what you've gone through, wow. Wow.
Mm.
And you are so beautiful. You're such a beautiful soul. And to have that spirit, it's your spirit is like so strong. And again, you were meant to be here, obviously, the universe. And I didn't know that when you were born, that you already did the breath. That's just crazy. You are a very special person.
Oh,
You're a very
thank
special
you.
person. And the story doesn't even stop there because I already know more. But
No, you mentioned the
wow.
breath, the
Wow,
breath,
the breath.
the breath, and that's really the through line. And thank you. I really received that. Thank you.
I'm just sitting here in awe thinking, wow, what the little problems we have, that's nothing. You
Mm.
spend years repairing your body.
Mm.
And sometimes we get so bent out of shape because yeah, we hurt our toe or whatever. That's nothing, compared to what you've gone through. That is just in itself. Wow, you are a warrior goddess. Seriously.
Mm. Thank you. So, yes, so when I was born, I wasn't breathing, and then the car accident was the next time. And the third time, and it's interesting that you said the why me. I didn't think in those through my 20s and even my 30s. I just there was no why me. There was acceptance.
Huge.
And knowing that I mean, there's no separation from the divine. We are part of it. That's who we are. That's our essence. It's always there. It's always available. And so I really sat in that space. I was immersed in it for most of that time. But I will say that even so, I don't know if I really, really landed here because I kept going, like I was more in like the spiritual realm than in the physical, right? It really was. I was like, I loved being in that place. And I don't know if I didn't have that near death experience, if I didn't have my grandmother and that just whole being of love and source, I don't know if I would have. And coming back to this body, knowing that was a choice, knowing I'm here for a reason. And obviously, the reason was not to dance, because if it was, I would dance. So that was not the reason, but I got to experience the bliss of living from my heart and my passion and the beauty of what dance is. And I got to live that. Many people never know that.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that was such a gift. And the honor of them saying, you can. Like, I know I could have. And I know that I put that line, like, I'm a dancer, I'm doing this. So I look back at that. It was a time, like when I do meditation, that's often where I go to be in that blissful state of being held and embraced and supported. And so, yes, that was the second time. Now, this is a very different shift. In 2020 March, my son, first of all, I have two children, which is like, they definitely did not think that was happening.
How did
That
your
was happening.
body
I had
even?
a child in my 40s. I was 44.
Are they twins?
Nope. I got a 19-year-old and an 11-year-old. Okay. So I had some miscarriages, yes, but my body held two beings to come to this planet.
That's crazy.
The first one, Sky, I felt his soul coming. It was when I was back in the city, and I felt his soul. I never was like, I'm gonna get married. I want to have kids. That was not my path. I never felt that. But then this soul was just like, I'm coming. I felt his soul coming. And that was Sky. And then my second child, Giovanni, came. I was 44 years old.
Giovanni, I love that name.
Giovanni. So I have two children coming from a body that have been through so much.
That's incredible. That's
and
crazy.
they just chose me.
Wow.
This vessel to come through here. And I'm very clear about that. So 2020, I got March, before the world shut down, I got sick. Sky was sick, sicker than he's ever been. And I got sick, but not hugely sick. And then all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. Like I could not breathe. It progressed to where I literally texted my husband, I cannot breathe. Come home. He came home, is working in the city, New York City. I couldn't breathe. And my heart was racing, like out, like you could see it coming out. I could not get a breath. And it just progressed. And this was the time where they didn't even have tests. Tests were not even available. And it was a time where they were showing people in hazmat suits. Nobody knew anything. I calling the hospital like in the middle of the night, like I can't breathe. They're like, are you turning blue? I'm like, no. And they're like, don't come. It was so insane. It was the most insane time that was happening. And it just got progressively worse. I remember night after, I had those rigors where my whole body was shaking and I couldn't stop it. It was night after night. And you talk about the breath. I could not find my breath. I felt like I was suffocating.
Oh my God.
It was like a combination of feeling like you're suffocating and drowning at the same time.
Oh my God.
That's what it felt like. And it was for months like that. It wasn't just, and then I got better. It was months. My gut, my heart, my lungs. It was everything I had been through. I was not really conscious. Like when I had my car accident, they did, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of surgery when I was in the coma. I'm aware. I'm a mother of two beings. I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I thought for months, I'm gonna die. Obviously, it was long COVID. It was before they even had the name long COVID. And you mentioned how much my body has been through. Yes, my body has been through so much. It is a warrior. It is amazing. It is a miracle. It's freaking phenomenal. And what the doctors explained, because my lungs were punctured. My lung was punctured in my car accident. Right. And before this, I was teaching somatic movement and breath work and meditation and visualization to senior citizens and people with chronic pain, taking my journey and bringing it to others. Now I can't breathe, and I know how to breathe. I know breath work. I know all the things. I know the meditation, but I couldn't breathe. My autonomic nervous system was like, I was in fight or flight at the highest level at all times. It was like my body was hijacked. And I knew through my healing journey, which was so largely holistic and alternative, that my vagus nerve. I was like, it's the vagus nerve. My gut was decimated. I looked 5 months pregnant, like overnight. I couldn't eat anything. And I was so dysregulated. I didn't sleep for months.
Oh
my husband had to leave his job for a year and a half. A year and a half. I could not function.
What?
I could not function. I barely could walk to the bathroom and back. I couldn't breathe. My heart was I mean, I had been diagnosed years and years and decades ago before this with the Ehlers-Danlos and the POTS. And I had done my healing journey and I had found a way to function. And now here I am again as a
Oh my
mother,
goodness. That's crazy.
as a mother. Like, this cannot happen. Like the other times I didn't have kids. I had the grace of, here I am laying in the living room, but no one's being impacted who's dependent on me.
Right.
Now I have two souls that are dependent on me and watching their mother in front of them. And my youngest he was a baby. He was little. He's in kindergarten.
Oh my goodness.
So we had to try to protect him from that. My husband was amazing. He's making bonfires in the backyard. He's taking him to the woods. They're building these structures. They're like going out and having these adventures every day.
Amazing.
And I was like, I can't function. And I went to when I wasn't able to see a doctor for so long because you couldn't get in. Finally, I got to see the doctor and I was on one time 15 medications. They were just giving me so much stuff, just throwing everything at me, and nothing was helping. I joined a long COVID group in June of 2020.
Damn.
I would lay in the bed. I could not. My breath could not support my voice. It was so hard for me.
Oh my goodness.
To speak. And again, I'm watching all this. And yes, I have the spiritual center. Yes, I know I will get through this. And and I will be 100% honest. Everything that had happened to me up to then, I knew there was a spiritual purpose. I knew what it is. I was completely embracing and acceptance. This is the one time when I said, why? I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Night after night, I'm in the bathroom covered in sweat, shaking, can't breathe. I'm like, God, why me? Not this. For these kids. For me, I'm like, I get through anything. Like I've been through it. I know how to handle it. I'm thinking of my kids.
Crazy.
And so
wow.
Now we are 5 years, beyond 5 years. I still definitely have some physical challenges from it, for sure. My breath is still, my lungs are still impacted. They diagnosed me with all these different diseases. That's not my concern. The breath. So I went on a deep dive because I'm like, this is no. We're not going to do this. We're not doing this.
Not again.
So, no. So I just did a deep dive. I studied the vagus nerve. I got certified I did breath work, more breath work with Kathleen Barrett, which was, I can't do those breath works that people do, like Kundalini. I can't do that. My breath will not support that. I just do very intuitive breathing of being with the sacredness of the breath and the still point. That's the only breath work that I can do. And I became a somatic coach because I knew that the body holds the wisdom. And in that time frame of 5 years, the first 2 years, I was not functional. I really wasn't. I relied so much, especially that first year and a half, on my husband to just basically keep us afloat. And it's so fascinating because I did go through that dark night of the soul then. I really did. And I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, come on. I developed a whole healing system from my healing journey. I brought a whole healing program to these hospitals from my healing journey. Every time I got knocked down, I figured something else out. I took it and I created something different from it. Not denying it, but embracing it and saying, what's next? How do I sculpt this into something of a learning and then serving others with it? And now I'm put down to my knees again, I just was like, I don't understand. And now it's so interesting. And I joined Kathy Heller's group. I finished my somatic training in March. And it's pretty recent that I've come to the knowing. I've made sense of that journey. And it's so much about as I mentioned, I've got through all this, but was I really here? And this time in this 5-year period where I was like, why did this happen? What's happening to now? It is so much about bringing my full self here, making the real decision. I'm not leaving until I'm really going to leave this earthly body to be home. I'm not leaving. I'm bringing my full self here. I'm here to serve. I'm here to offer my story, my heart, my knowing, and live from there. And this breath, like I love to do somatic work because I'm so in tune with how sacred this breath is. And sometimes my breath is still really labored. Sometimes it's really hard for me to breathe, and that's okay. Because it's in those times when I remember, sometimes you experience the contrast to remember when I experience the ease, it's so sacred.
Mm-hmm.
How am I to take that for granted? I need to fully land here. So 3 times I've lost my breath. That's the Trinity. And now I'm here to stay until I really will leave this
Wow.
lifetime. But it's really recent where I really made that commitment. It really is to experience all of it. Like, I don't need to leave to be in my soul and my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need to be these big expressions. This is so beautiful in this now moment. This moment is sacred. This moment is blessed. This breath is everything. It's like literally we have our breath, which is the most healing tool of all, at our disposal.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not readily available for me. And I'm still very aware of how precious it is.
Your story, I don't even know what to say because it's like such. Oh God, when you were talking about it earlier with the dance, I want to go back to that for a minute. You're still a dancer because you're dancing through life.
Mm.
You're in the flow constantly, and such a
Mm.
testimonial to no matter what you're going through, there's always a solution. And if you are leaning into it, like you were saying, right? You were like, at some point, yeah, you did ask why, but you still
Mhm.
accepted it. You're like, okay, this is what you're putting me through now. All right. I have children. I'm not giving up. I'm not
No.
leaving. Now I'm not
Nope.
leaving. And
Yeah.
it's funny because you said you were still not 100% here, but you knew you had to, you wanted to be here to be there for them. But
Yes.
and that's brave too, because you could have said, screw this, I'm out. This is enough. I've had enough, right? But you've been reminded for some reason. And I think that obviously everything happens for a reason. And again, I you are such a brave woman, and I mean what you've gone through is just, you're superhuman. But you're superhuman because I think you're really embracing and coming from that source energy, that you
Mm.
have that, you're so fearless. You're like, hey, this, I'm a soul. Like you were saying in the beginning, you said, I'm a soul, right? This is
Mhm.
just I'm not my body. I'm not this face. I'm not my name. And that is, oh, you just living proof that when you come from that place, you take whatever obstacles, whatever difficulties most humans could not face because they're
Mhm.
so not inside of themselves, right? They're like always constantly seeking on the outside world, help me, fix me, save me,
Mhm.
whatever, you know,
Mm.
and they don't even
There's
know
so
who they are.
nothing to fix.
Yeah, and
There's
you
so
just know
nothing to
that
fix.
it's coming from the inside out, not outside in,
Yeah.
you know. And wow, what a story. I mean, and also it's so interesting how it's still, you know, I feel like when you said you're doing somatic work now, that is also a dance of life. It is still
Yeah.
dance, you know.
Mhm.
This is still all a dance you're doing. And
Mm.
that is just, I mean, you having children,
I
you,
know.
I mean, just thinking about that, like you are just a superhuman that came here to tell us, like, you got this. I feel like you are the messenger to say, you got this, whatever you have to go through, you got this. And
Yeah.
not because, oh, look at me, because what I've gone through, you don't even care. You want to share it in an empowerment way, not like poor me kind of thing. And I just, again, it's like, wow, what a special being you are, and you came here to this place, you know, to show us that and to teach us that. This, well, your story is just amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
It really is about, you know, what's most important to me. And when I was studying expressive arts therapy, and I love so much, is about embracing all of us, inviting it all, being like, I really believe we have everything inside of us. And when we come from that place and we begin to see it in others, it changes everything. And we remember, we forget sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But then we remember. I love that idea. We remember better and we give ourselves grace through all of it. Because why wouldn't we?
Yes.
We are on this planet to serve, to grow,
Yes.
to expand, to connect, to uplift, to inspire, to feel, and to reach across and see each other,
Yeah.
really see each other. And I think that's our deepest desire, is to be seen and heard for who we truly are. And we go, I'm not saying for everybody, but people sometimes forget that. And they begin to look outside themselves
Yeah.
to feel like they're enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they forget where we come from and who we truly are. That is a blessing to me, is I don't forget, because how could I?
Yeah.
I really more have struggled to be here. I don't doubt that there's more than this, ever. I
That's
really
crazy.
don't. I never do. I never do. And I do believe that it is so important to see each other from this place of remembering and connecting and giving of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. And, you know, I've been in the spiritual communities for decades and decades and decades. I think I've never not been in them. And I don't, what one thing that if I were to look at them, and from my experience, what I hope to impart is the invitation of allowing all of yourself to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
and all of it is beautiful, embracing really your full self. Like, there's a lot of judgment that comes in some spiritual communities, like, well, you manifested a car accident. Well, you manifested a sickness. You manifested long COVID. If you were of this frequency, you wouldn't. I'm like, no. I, what has happened to me and what I've been through has brought me to this place
Yeah.
of such truth, such knowing, such wisdom in myself, that I don't need to read another book or go to another thing. I know. And I live from there. And
Mm-hmm.
I love to be in community, because that's where I get to be with people who are speaking from there. And I crave that.
Yeah.
And I do wish, if I was one wish, is that we recognize the importance of being. I think sometimes we want to be, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. And we just remember all of it is divine. All of it. It is divine. We are connected.
Mm-hmm.
And when we hold space, invite all, like, I love when people do work on inviting all the parts in,
Yeah.
all our parts, embracing all of it. So it's not about, oh, I'm going to put that over there because that's not spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or this part of my personality, I don't like it. It's like practicing grace and acceptance, embracing it all in this place of truth of who we know we are,
Yeah.
which is the ultimate beauty and grace and peace and love and joy, all those things. That is who we are. And we come to this planet to remember it. And when we forget, it's the opportunity to come back to it and love ourselves through it and love each other through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that again, coming when people are not as spiritual because for whatever reason they think it's a woo-woo thing or which is kind of funny because it's like, no, you are a spirit in this, came here for this human experience. And I think that people often get again, distracted and confused by the outside world where it's designed to divide us. It's designed to make us feel like we're just here to work, 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 be
Mm.
a little slave and follow rules and not embrace who we really came here to be, like you said, express yourself. We're all unique. We all have our unique gifts, right? And to embrace them and to really share them because that's what our mission is here. But we've been taught at an early age that no, you came here to go to college like you were, you're like, why am I doing this?
Oh my God.
To go to college, study, and then you sit down for a second. I'm so glad you did that when you were 19. You're like, no, this is not what I want to do. This, I don't even know why I'm doing this. This had nothing to do with who I am. And
Yeah.
for you to like discover that right then and there and say, no, I'm not
I
doing
know.
I'm not doing that because it's just a waste of my energy and my time. And then the universe had a completely different, path for you anyway. But I just think that the lesson here is, from what I'm hearing, you so beautifully expressing it, and I mean, sharing all the things you've gone through, that tap into yourself, tap into your soul. And we did a hypnosis, and I loved when Penny was talking about that. There's this lady called Penny, and she does hypnosis. And in our
Mhm.
group that we actually, Dawn and I met,
Yeah.
we do some hypnosis, and this month's theme is manifestation. And Penny was saying that think of your human design. There is your own personal Google, right? So when you have a question, when you even questioning your being here or what your
Mhm.
purpose is, just type it in and let your soul answer. Allow yourself to get the answer from the inside versus going around asking someone, what do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? Asking other people is, of course, it's valid, but they are not you. They didn't
Mhm.
come here to we all on our own timeline, have our own mission and get, like I said, gifts and talents. So I think that trusting yourself more, and you've been doing this, even when you were not being able to breathe, you were like, I'm just gonna, this is so hard. And I mean, I cannot even imagine like what that must have felt like, the one
Mhm.
thing that gives you life
Mhm.
being restricted and being almost blocking you off, and you still been able to go through that because you had purpose,
I
your
think
kids, and that it's just so powerful, so powerful.
I think that when the relationship I have now with my breath, it's intimate.
Mm.
I'm so aware of how sacred it is. And even when I was struggling with the breath and having the knowledge that I am a mom and there's beings relying on me, and it was difficult. It was very scary. It was a scary physical, even though I know who I truly am and what my soul is and where I come from, it was scary, but it also brought me the gift of this relationship. When I sit with somebody with their breath, I'm not manipulating the breath. I'm just inviting them home to it.
Mm.
And what if you're receiving this breath as this sacred gift right now, as though it's the first time that you really opened and brought that depth of awareness of this breath? You begin to meet it in a different way.
Mm. Wow. I have chills. I just, everything you've been saying and your entire story, there's definitely a book that you need to write.
I am writing a book.
Yes. Yes.
I am writing a book. And it's so interesting because really in January of this year, I did a 5-day somatic for my somatic coaching certification. It's like a year and a half. It was a very intensive program. And I did a 5-day retreat, and I haven't been away from my children for 5 days. And it was this deep immersion for me. And again, I am this creative being. And when given the time and space, it just whoop, flew open. And I began writing nonstop. Like it, and a friend of mine, oh, beautiful, who I've known since I was acting in my 20s, she said, "You've always been a writer." Well, I did. I wrote for a New York City magazine about wellness when I had moved back to the city. But beyond that, she said, the thing that no one can take away from you is your writing. You don't know. I don't know. My body is not one that I always can know its physical capacity. It's actually a day-to-day meeting it where it is. Like my body demands, and I think that's a gift,
Mm-hmm.
that I have to deeply listen to my body always,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know the capacity that is available that day. Like I said with my breath, even though it's so sacred, I don't know the depth of the breath that's going to be available that day.
Mm.
But with writing, that's always available to me.
Mm.
And it's bringing everything I've experienced and everything that's important to me and everything I want to share and giving it a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first book I'm writing, I have so many books I'm writing, but this book I am writing is about my somatic healing journey through chronic illness and long COVID. And it is so much about what I shared about the breath. And it really is an invitation. Like, I want the reader to walk with me, and I want to walk beside them in the journey through somatic tools, through the breath work. But more than anything, I want them to feel seen and heard and understood, and that they're not alone.
Mm.
And I'm so excited because it's just like I could do it all day. It's so much fun. It's bringing me so much joy. And it's always available. Like, even if my body hurts, even if my breath is shallow, I can still write.
Mm.
And even if my hands aren't working, I can speak it. There's ways. And it's feeding me, it's nourishing me. And it's a way to offer what I have to others.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is beautiful. That is your journey, your work, the work you're doing is just helping so many people. I always ask my guests, so I have to ask you too, what is your pet peeve?
What's my pet peeve? My pet peeve. That's a good question.
Everybody's always like, not sure.
My pet peeve. Probably have a lot of them. You know what it is? I think it more than anything, what comes to me is I love silence so much. And this is funny. When I need silence and I very much need to go within, and being in my house with 2 kids and a husband, and our dog died recently, but it's
Aw.
a lot going on in our space. I think that my pet peeve is when people have like the television on, or they're on their phone and they're eating, and my husband has the music on, and I'm like, I must have silence. I must be alone. I do not want anyone near me. And I go into my bath and I'd be like, no one is allowed. So that's my pet peeve, like too much noise. I love music. I love movies. I love all that, but I love silence the most.
Same. I do too.
I love it.
Yeah. I love quiet time because I feel like I need time to think my own and hear my own voice. So I embrace quiet time myself.
Yeah. I have to have it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
built into every day.
I think we all do. We all
Oh,
should
I
take
do.
time to just be decompress, shut it all out. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
What is your favorite beverage in the morning?
I'm drinking my favorite beverage, and I got this cup. It's so cute.
Oh, it is so adorable. I remember you posting that.
I love
Yes.
this cup.
Yes.
And I love that my youngest was like, I was like, we're getting because we got the thing from Kathy with the Starbucks
Yes.
card.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was looking like, look at this cup.
That is just perfect.
Get it, Mom. You deserve it. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Excuse me. And I was like, the guy, he was behind the counter. I'm like, look at this cup. So beautiful. And I deserve it. And look, I know it's the Starbucks logo or something, but I'm like, I don't go to Starbucks a lot. I'm like, look at this. This is like a mermaid and it's like a goddess. And she's like, okay. And then I recognize that my gift card covered it. So I got my drink and I got my chai latte with oat
Oh
milk.
my God. I love chai lattes.
It's nourishing.
Grande, 7 pumps, no water, no foam.
I love it. I feel like myself need this. I say to my husband, this is nourishing me.
Yes.
I feel like it does. And it is like you drink it out of this cup and you're like, I'm a goddess.
I love cups.
I love beauty.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah. And today's Friday. So Fridays is Venus Day. It's all about beauty and expansion and love. Yeah. I got this cup at the thrift store.
I noticed that cup.
Isn't it
It's
cool?
so cool.
And we had 2 of them. I broke one, but I love cups so much, but I don't have much space because I live in my RV most of the year. So I'm like, I want to get all these cups, but I can't have them. So it's like, if I get a new cup, I have to get rid of an old cup. But yeah, cups are it's so nice to have your favorite drink in a beautiful cup. I totally get that.
It is. It's like transporting.
Yes.
And it is that Venus energy.
Yes.
It is.
I see a cup. It's just so beautiful. It's like a lotus on top of it. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
And I love my little one. Well, he's not little anymore, but he's like, you deserve it. Like, of course I do. Of course I deserve this.
Yes.
And I didn't even pay for it. The universe did. So good.
What are some of your last words for our listeners? Where can they, first of all, find you, get in touch with you if they want to do the work with you, if you are offering that? Let us know where we can find you.
Oh, I love that. First of all, I would love to end because I feel like this is so important. Because this is what I've spoke about and bringing myself fully here. So if it's okay with you, I love to put this out there into the universe of something I wrote. And it is about claiming my full presence here in my body. This isn't even a poem. It's not prose. It's a vow to myself. It's called The Homecoming, a Soul Declaration. I've hovered for years between spirit and skin, between breath and breathlessness, between yes and escape. But I am done skimming the surface of my life. I am done waiting to be claimed. I claim myself. 3 times I nearly left. 3 times life took my breath. And 3 times I returned, not just to survive, but to live. This is my yes. This is my vow. This is the moment I marry my mission. I am here, fully, finally, not as a visitor, but as a vessel. I came back for a reason, to speak, to serve, to create beauty out of breath, to remind others it's safe to stay. I did not leave because I was not done. I had not landed. I had not yet said the one thing that changes everything. I am here. This is my sacred vow. This is my soul's yes. This is my homecoming.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for declaring that. Yes. Yes. Oh, we need the confetti. I think there's a confetti somewhere here. React.
It's like your blinking lights have been there the whole time, but they extra did it.
I know, right? Yeah, it was funny when you said that I did this, and then somehow it does it again. It raised my hand. I'm like, I didn't raise my hand. But maybe it was something you said. So in a replay, I got to watch it and be like, that's the moment. People, pay attention. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing, inspiring, empowering story. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me a place to share it and with such an open heart.
And thank you for coming back to show us what's possible.
I am here. I am here.
Yes.
I am saying yes.
Amazing.
Saying yes.
You're so beautiful. Where can people find you?
Well, a lot of the work I've done is locally and one-on-one and in groups and women's circles, which I love. But I'm also now, I'm writing my book. And I guess you can find me on Facebook, Dawn Christiansen, spelled Christ, E-N-S-E-N. And then I just started social media.
It's okay.
TikTok and the what's the other thing? Instagram.
Okay.
And it's Dawn Christiansen, again, Christ, E-N-S-E-N. It's interesting. I married someone and it's not even about Christianity or Catholicism. It's about like my connection to Christ consciousness. So it's in my last name. Christ.
I was going to say that. Of course it's in your name.
I know. Christiansen, 1111, because that's the portal, and it's also my anniversary is 11/11/11. And
what?
Dawn Chris, yeah. That's a whole other story. My twin flame and I and our it's a very crazy story.
I was about to ask you how you met your husband.
Oh my God, that's a rock and roll. It's that's a whole journey in itself. It really is. We met in 1994 and we got married in 2011. And our lives were like this. He went off into was in the music industry and rock and roll, punk rock, and the underground music scene.
How
And our
cool.
meeting is like a freaking movie. It really is. And I was this, meditating holistic actress that met this punk rock. We met on St. Mark Street in front of the Continental.
Of course you
Uh,
did. I played there. I played there. I love that
no,
place. I'm a musician also, so
I
we
know
played
you
the.
are.
Wait, what was the name of his band?
No, he was more, I mean, his Virgin Veins, but that was when he was never a successful musician. He was in the music industry. He's he was like hung with, D-Generation, Jesse
Yes,
Malin,
yes,
D-Generation. That
yes.
was like he was all in that world. Willie DeVille. Willie DeVille is what's our wedding song is A Storybook Love, not from The Princess Bride, but from Willie DeVille. He was in this world, immersed in it. And it was I said he needs to write a book like Tales from the Fringe, because things happened in his life, like doors were open of and insane things happened that whenever he tells it, I'm like, that didn't happen, but it did. It's like the things that he went through.
So what you're
But
saying is your husband needs to be next on my podcast. Because you both have a crazy story.
I didn't. I was always off meditating and reading spiritual books, and he's off like doing all stuff, hanging out with these. I need to meditate and read my book. In fact, when I met him, my friend Jordan, I was living on First Avenue, and he dragged me out. And I'm like, I just want to stay in. I need to go inward. It's like, no, you're coming out. And I was like, this is important. I put on these little, at that time, I wasn't dancing anymore, but I was teaching Lottie Burke. I had this kick-ass body. And I put on this little striped shorts, pinstripes with suspenders, right? And of course, I don't sew, so I put it was missing a button. I put a big safety pin.
Safety pins, yes.
Safety pin.
Yeah.
So we're at Continental St. Mark Street, and I'm in a Grand Plie, of course. So I'm in this deep Grand Plie eating pizza, right? I forgot the pizza place right there, but I have.
Oh yeah, right
pizza.
across,
Yeah,
and under the St. Mark's Hotel. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh no, there was a pizza place right next to the Continental too.
Right next to the Continental.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
where it was from.
Oh,
place right in front.
love that pizza.
Oh, and I even think D-Generation was playing. So anyway, I feel this pull on my suspenders, right? And I stand up and I lock eyes with. When I locked eyes, it was a moment like everything stood
The world
still.
stopped.
The world stopped into these beautiful blue eyes and your pink. No, it was burgundy hair. Burgundy hair, and he had on pinstripe pants and suspenders. Like he had on the same outfit as me. And we were like two kids. We just talked all night long. And it turned out I was on First and I think an 11th, and I was moving to Mott Street in a week. I ended up moving. If we were stand on our rooftop, we'd be looking at each other in a week. But here's the deal. This is what's so crazy. We spent the night talking. He gets down on one knee because of my suspenders and my safety pin, and he sews on my button. And while he's doing that, I did not know about Willie DeVille. He puts on Willie DeVille. Come, my love, and I'll, the whole Willie DeVille. And at that time, there was no cell phones, right? No cell phones. So we're talking. Then we did some kissing, and I have a huge scar right on my shoulder, huge. And he looked at the scar and looked at me and said, "It's so beautiful." And he kissed my scar. This moment was just like, so anyway, it was like 3 a.m. I think it was, I forget, it was a Saturday or Sunday. And I had a rehearsal the next day. I had to go. I get in a cab. We don't have any way to get in touch with each other. And he's like, how am I going to get in touch with me? How are we going to get in touch with each other? He goes, go to Wayne Brown. He works at a music store on St. Mark's. Okay. Wayne Brown. We have been at Wayne Brown's apartment. He's 6 foot, like 4 or 5, bald, that wears a big black hat. I wonder if you see, and huge earrings. He worked. So listen, so he tells me to go give my number to Wayne at the music store on St. Mark's, right? I did not go until a week because I was like very shy, a very, very shy girl, very inexperienced with men, very, very inexperienced. I mean, most of my life, from 19 on had been doctors and, not the norm. So anyway, and he was this beautiful punk rock. So anyway, I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I can't go. And so finally my friend convinces me to go to give my number. So I go into a music store. How many music stores were on St. Mark's in the 90s? This is 1994.
Not sure.
A lot.
Really?
There were a lot. Yeah. A lot. It's totally different now. There were a lot. So I go into a music store and I says, Wayne here? And they're like, oh no, he's not here. I'm like, well, can I leave him a message? I was very shy. And I left. I was like, Wayne, I write this message. I don't know if you'll remember me. Meanwhile, we're in his apartment. Richard and I, he's on his knees, sewing on my thing. We're having these. So if you do, give me a call. So he calls my landline because we didn't have cell phones. And he's like, this is Wayne, but I wasn't even here in the city this weekend, last weekend. I'm like, oh my God, I totally made it up. I totally must have made this up. And I was like, are you like, is it? Like, oh my God. I'm like, Wayne Brown, like you're like 6 foot with the bald head and the earrings he's like, oh no, that's Wayne Brown. He works at Rocket Rags, like two stores down. I walk in, I go the next day. I was after rehearsal. I was with an actress friend of mine. I walk in. Wayne is like, oh my God, Richard has been here every day seeing if you came to leave. And I never forget, I was at Dojo's. You remember Dojo's?
Dojo's. Wait, that sounds familiar.
Oh my gosh, Dojo's. It was this vegetarian place on St. Mark's. When were you in the city? In the 90s or?
Yeah, late 90s. But I don't
St.
remember
Mark's.
Dojo's. Yeah, I
love
used to go
Dojo's.
I used to go to Alcatraz, to the Continental, oh God, there was a place.
Continental.
Yeah, and there was another place that was like for bands. It was so cool. And
Oh, the one. What was the one that Jesse Malin and D-Generation? Coney Island High.
Yes.
Coney Island High was Jesse's.
Yeah, I love that. I don't remember the Dojo thing. That's so weird.
Dojo's a vegetarian restaurant with the best carrot tahini dressing.
Oh, wow.
So I'm there with my friend, and he walked in. He had a cut off like denim, all the tattoos and the earrings. And yeah. But it's a crazy story. It's a 30-year span.
Wow.
Of in and out. And we finally re-met in 2011 and got married a couple months after that.
Wow.
At 11/11/11.
That's amazing.
It's a crazy story. Yeah, he has stories and stories and stories. I'm sure you do. That wasn't my world, so
So maybe we'll have to have him on, because I love talking about, especially that time. I feel so blessed that we were around for that time in New York, because that New York is gone.
Now
that
it's
New York
gone. And they'll never experience it. They'll never
the Thompson Square and the
Thompson Square Park. Yeah. Oh, now it's totally
that I feel like CBGB's. Like I've played there, and I'm like, oh my God,
you
this
did?
is like,
What was the name of your band?
The Limelight. Otto's Daughter.
What is it?
Otto's Daughter.
Otto's Daughter.
We were like really gothy, industrial. So we played like the Club Mother. It was like a vampire club. It was so awesome.
Wow.
But we did play the Continental a few times, and then we also played Webster Hall.
Oh my gosh.
The smaller stage upstairs. And then, oh God, there were so many. The Limelight, we never played there. Sadly, I always wanted to play the Limelight. I used to go there. which was like my church. But, yeah, I feel really blessed, and I know that people they are like, New York sucks now because it's not, and I'm like, you gotta embrace the changes. Everything
Yes. Yeah.
changes, and you just gotta
Yeah.
be grateful that we were to able to
My
experience that
gosh.
gritty, New
Ah,
York, that the New Yorkers.
yes. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
lived everywhere. I lived in Alphabet City. Then I lived on First and First and 11th First and Mott Street.
I think the Lower East Side has always been my favorite. It still is.
Always my
I
favorite.
still love going there because I think that it's just so fun, and because it's not all the I love the skyscrapers, and I also love the Upper West Side, which is really beautiful.
I
But
love the Upper West. I love that
yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, I just love the fact that New York City has so many different neighborhoods that are completely different. They're still in New
Oh,
York City, but right, like St. Mark's and
yeah.
and the Greenwich Village, and it's just like the different parts. It's awesome. I just love
Oh, I
that.
lived on Christopher Street. I love the West Village.
Yes.
Richard and I lived together on Perry Street in a small studio. We had a futon that if when the futon was out, only one person could walk in.
It's like New York apartments are like a shoebox.
There
It's
was
like
no kitchen. We didn't have a kitchen. We had like a microwave, a hot pot, and refrigerator, nothing.
amazing.
And we thought, this is the best. This is the best life.
I
Right?
loved when I first got to New York, I was in the middle of like the everything, the noise. My friend and I, we were in a hotel, and we were like, smells a little funny here, and it was like elevators going up and down, and then we
Mhm.
realized this was like an hour hotel, like people like transvestites and prostitutes
Oh
and whatnot.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
we're like, oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So we put our stuff all on top of the bed, and we hung out all night. We were out all night. And then, because we were like, oh my God, there's probably roaches and stuff. But I just loved being in the middle of everything. It was so noisy and crazy because it was new to me. I was like, oh my God, this is just like out of the movies. And 42nd Street, which was like so
Oh my
dirty
gosh.
and gritty.
It
And
was terrible. It was so dirty. I worked at Helen Hayes Theater doing the ushering because I was at NYU and I worked there. And I would get off from work and go on the subway. But nothing ever happened. I was this 20-something-year-old girl in the subway, and I'm like, it's fine. We're fine.
I know. I
2 o'clock
mean,
in the morning.
we've done some crazy shit too. We like go into cabs, like with like a limousine with people. I'm like, what were we thinking? But we were always protected, like always, we just,
Yes.
it's,
Yes.
I would not take anything back. It was just so awesome. And there was like this one bar, all these rock stars would go there. Like we had like every night was like a place to go.
Mhm.
It was like Sundays was Limelight. Then forget this one place. It was like Lower East Side too, and it was like it was like the Scrap Bar was like one of my favorite places.
Ah, Richard loved the scrap bar.
Oh my
Oh
God, that
my
was like
God.
I
So many
freaking loved the
stories.
Scrap Bar. Oh God.
Mhm.
And then there was another place that was like more of a bar, and but people would all the rock and rollers. Everybody would go
Yeah.
to these places, and it was just so
Yeah.
freaking cool. It's like,
Yeah.
so we have to have Richard on, okay? Just like let him know. He'll be my first male guest. I want some men on my shows as well, and I love the storytelling. I just like, and again, I love how we're ending this because like it went from your life, right, from the spiritual thing to the rock and roll because your husband is the rock and roller,
Because
and
we're
that's
full range of being. We are
Yeah.
full range of being.
yes,
We
yes,
get to be it all.
yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Dawn, I cannot wait to meet you in person.
Me too. I love you so much.
You're so amazing. And thank you so much for your time. We went definitely over, but we had to because that had to come out.
I don't even know what time it is.
Oh my God. Last message for our guests, if there's anything you want to share or say.
Oh, just allow yourself to be your full range of being. It's all in you. You are beautiful, blessed, and sacred. It's all there, always, in all ways. It's just remembering it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here on the show, and we will talk very soon.
I loved it. It was so fun.
I love you, and I will talk to you very soon. Mwah! Mwah! Take care, beautiful soul. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you feel the same way I do. I feel so empowered and inspired and grateful for my breath and for being here on this planet Earth, fully embracing and living in the present moment. Feel free to reach out to Dawn. She is an amazing person. She's so generous. I know there's so many things you could be doing with your time. So spending your time here with us is greatly appreciated. Make sure that you subscribe and follow the podcast. Also share it with someone who might be going through a difficult time that could really help them see the light and see the hope and see the gratitude in the gift we've been given, this gift called life. If you're interested in decluttering your space, your mind, your life, make sure that you hit the link in the description below so you can grab my free declutter course. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. As always, make every day a great day and always follow your bliss. Lightning strikes, the forest burns, fire's rolling over me, but I won't burn. Thought I was on solid ground, but the cliff is crumbling. I'm not afraid to fall, I'm not afraid to fall. Storm beats me down, waves crashing over me, but I'm not gonna I am unbreakable, unbreakable. Baldy, making sure nobody's touching our stuff. Little Baba, my executive producer.